I've had the great privilege of accompanying Maharajji. I was wondering why Maharajji was so keen on South Africa, because I was aware that there were great difficulties in our getting the visa for this country. But there is a saying in Hafiz, the great mystic poet of Persia, that love, wherever it encountered a door, it opened it. The doors were opened automatically. People have told me that it's something of a miracle as to how the visas were granted and that we are here. But when I look at it from another point of view, that is the great attraction, the great force which was being exerted from here, inevitably had to break away all the barriers.
Radhaswami, it is my great pleasure and privilege to present Maharajji to you tonight. He is here on a very short visit to South Africa, and we are all very privileged and honored to have him with us. I'd like to welcome him to South Africa. We hope to make his tour as easily as possible.
Brothers and sisters, Radhaswami, I am so happy to visit you in your own country. Ever since my visit to Europe and America, I have been thinking of coming to see you here, but my engagements at Dera always kept me busy and didn't permit me to come out of India. But this time, when visa was refused to some of you to visit India and Dera, I had no option but to come here to see you personally. I'll be here, as you know, Mr. Sam has told you, and in consultation with me, he has arranged my program. I'm looking forward to see all of you individually and collectively. I'll be holding group meetings almost every day during my stay in this country, and you are most welcome to ask me any question, ask me to discuss on any subjects. Many of you I have met before who are good enough to visit me and Dera, and to others I am anxious to know more intimately, individually and collectively. Thank you very much for your kind and warm affection, Radhaswami.
Love makes us to be happy. No matter how many desires you may be able to satisfy, but mind will always go on creating desires after desire. There will be no end to them. So if we submit ourselves to Him, He will give us what we need best. If a son loves his father, father is always anxious to give to the son even without asking him. If he doesn't love the father and is always demanding from the father, father doesn't want to give him at all. So love is more essential. We should love the father. Meditation is nothing but creating that love, helping our love to grow, to become one with him. That is meditation. You should only contemplate on the form of the master and keep your mind absolutely in Simran. Don't worry right and left. You have to be there so that you may be able to concentrate and you are able to bring back your consciousness to that eye center. And there is only one way of detaching ourselves from the creation is to attach ourselves to the divine melody within. With the help of that attachment, slowly and slowly we start detaching ourselves from this creation. All these worldly attachments fade out with the help of meditation.
आवो संत, आवो संत, आवो संत, मैं गल में लाइए.
Intellect is a great barrier in our way for spiritual progress. Unless the intellect is satisfied, faith will never come, practice will never come, we will never make any progress at all. I often give an example. There's a simple person who wants to drive from Johannesburg to Durban. He's so simple, he asks anybody on the roadside. And the moment he's told that this road leads to Durban, he starts driving on that road without making any further inquiry. But an intellectual person, if he wants to go to Durban, naturally he won't ask only one person, he will ask another 6, 7 persons. Unless he is convinced, he will not make a start. And then not only the evidence he wants, he will consult his map, he will see the road signs. And once he is satisfied his intellect that this road does lead to Durban, he just drives on. But his intellect is not taking him to Durban. Now his driving is taking him, which is based on the faith. So it is very essential for an intellectual person to satisfy his intellect. Even if whole life is lost, I think it's the time gained, it's not time lost.
Prayer is that we want to become one with the Father. That is prayer. There's no other prayer in the world which pleases the Father. Only one prayer pleases Him, that we want to become one with Him. And this only meditation can make us one with Him. So this is the best prayer. No language is required, no words are required in prayer. The language of love, heart to the Father. And then nobody exists between you and the Father. That is prayer. You are not conscious of the word when you pray to Him. He exists and you exist. That is real prayer. And that is only at the time of meditation.
Maharaji, today is Father's Day in the West. I would like to thank you very much for being a kind and loving father.
Well, we can never thank the Father, our Father at all. There's only one Father, and we are all His children. And we can never thank Him, no matter what we do, for all His grace, for all what He gives to us. We can never thank Him. So every day should be a Father's Day.
The only time when I saw the lion was in Nairobi, when I was taken to the park. One of the lions just stood to oblige me and I taken the photograph. And then again it lied down. I was taken that national park. They took us in a jeep, 2 jeeps. And we went to the park. And I had taken their slides and one of the lions just got up. He was just on his feet and I took the picture and he again lied down and that's all. No question of getting out and petting them, we were all quite scared. And then I asked that man, that how is it that they don't attack anybody because our jeep is just 20 feet from the line? They said due to the smell of the petrol, they cannot have the smell of the man. And if you don't come out of the jeep and don't move about, they will never attack.
Mistakes or saints may come any time, in any age, in any country, any caste, any creed. They have the same spiritual truth to share with us. No saint comes here to create any religion or to condemn any religion. Their main object is to share the spiritual truth with us and to show us the way, the path, and lead us back to the Father. History tells us we forget the real teaching of all the saints, all the mystics. In order to hold each other into some organization, we try to arrest their teachings and give it a name of some sort of a religion and lose the reality.
If we go deep into the teaching of any saint, you will find the same spiritual truth and same teaching. No mistake comes with any shortcut. Right from the beginning of the creation till the end of the creation, teaching will always remain the same. It will not differ from time to time, from mistake to mistake, or with country to country.
My stay in your beautiful country comes to an end today. During my short stay, I am glad I have been able to visit almost all our satsang centers and been able to see you individually and collectively. I am glad to find spiritual hunger in your heart. I am grateful to you, all of you, for your warm reception and your affectionate greetings and your love and your devotion. And I assure you, though my stay has been very short in this country, but your love and devotion will enable me to visit you more often in the coming future. I have no particular message to give, but I will only like to remind you what Jesus Christ taught us 2000 years ago. He said, "My first commandment is, love thy Lord with all thy heart, with all thy mind, with all thy soul." Then he said, "My second commandment is, love thy neighbor as thyself." But don't forget, this whole universe is our neighbor, and the Lord is within every one of us. So we have to love one and all, everyone whosoever has been created by the Lord. Teachings of all the prophets, of all the sages, of all the saints in the world are broadly based on these two commandments. If we hang on to these commandments, we grasp the gist of the teaching of all the saints and all the prophets. You know your destination. You know the path leading to your destination. I can only advise you to hang on to the path with your all love and devotion. Thank you.
तुम दीपक मैं भई हूँ पतंगा भस्म किया मन तुमरे संगा भस्म किया मन तुम्हारे संगा तुम भृंगी मैं कीट अधीना मिल गए राधा स्वामी अति परवीना।
I am quite conscious that I have come here after 16 years. Not that I didn't want to, but I just couldn't. You have always been very near and dear to me. My purpose of visit is not to hold any discourses, but I just want to be with you all during my short stay in this country. Want to be more close to you and will be seeing you more intimately. I'll be visiting all the three important centers in your country. I know you already know the teachings. You have read so much, you have heard so much, so many tapes reach you, so many questions and answers have come in the book form. So there's nothing much to discuss. This is just an excuse to be with you and to know you more intimately and closely.
तुम दीपक मैं भई हूँ पतंगा कसम किया मन तुम्हारे संगा।
You are most welcome to ask me any question or explain any aspect of Sankhmat as I try to explain.
Master, how does one recognize a true master?
Well, very frankly, it is impossible. It is only by His grace that we can be on the path and we can be led rightly by a right person. It is only by His grace. Our intellect fails here. There are many things which we can discuss intellectually, say things, but they are just said intellectually and heard intellectually. But actually, conviction comes from within. Logic doesn't come, satisfies us at all. Automatically, our all questions are dissolved. All questions vanish when we are brought, in the presence of the Master. And the pull comes from within. We just feel from within that this is the path for us. By our intellect, we can never know.
Master, how do we learn to be humble?
Well, sister, what is there to be proud of?
Maharaji, we've waited so long for you to come, and now that you're here, we can't believe you're here. I'd like to ask you, Maharaji, please, to do something, just so that we can be reassured that you are here.
Well, brother, in the morning I said, I'm quite conscious that I have come here after 16 years. Not that I didn't want to, but I just couldn't. There were so many factors in my way which it was difficult for me to overcome. And the moment I get the chance, at first opportunity I am here with you all. But in spite of being away, you have all been very near and dear to me.
Thank you, Maharaji.
करूं बेनती राधा स्वामी आज काज करो और राखो लाज।
Darshan means when we look at the Master. Drishti means when he looks at us. But we should not be confused by these words at all. Darshan is nothing but helplessness of a beloved to look at his lover, or helplessness of a lover to look at the beloved. That is darshan. We should not try to calculate any advantage out of it. Lover, when he looks at the beloved, he never calculates any advantage what he is going to get out of it. He looks at the beloved because he can't help looking. He's so much in love, he can't take his gaze away from the beloved. And that is darshan, which fills the disciple with love and faith.
संता के कारज आप खलोया हर काम करावण आया राम। संता के कारज आप खलोया हर काम करावण आया राम। संता के कारज आप खलोया हर काम करावण आया राम।
we all know that there is one God. And we also realize the necessity to go back to the Father. Unless we are one with the Father, we will never get peace of mind. We can never be happy. We can never save ourselves from transmigration of soul, from this world, from this creation. So we all feel the necessity to go back to the Father. And we also know the Father whom we are all trying to seek is nowhere outside. He is within every one of us. Every mistake has tried to emphasize on this point that Lord is nowhere outside. He is within every one of us. If there is one Lord and He is within every one of us, and the Lord has made all of us alike, so naturally the path leading back to the Father can also be within us. It cannot be outside at all. And it has to be the same path for all of us, which is within every one of us. Our spiritual journey starts from the sole of our feet and ends at the top of our head. In the body, the seat of soul and mind knotted together is at the eye center. This place is known as Shiv Netra or Tisra Til or third eye, single eye, or door of your house. You can give it any name. From here, our mind works. From here, our mind is pulled downward toward the senses. And through these 9 apertures, it has spread into the whole creation. Since it is fond of pleasures, so it has become slave of the senses. Being slave of the senses, we commit so many karma, so many sins. And when we die along with those sins, along with those karmas. And those karmas in the next birth becomes our master. And we become the slave. So slave can have no free will in the house at all. Only the master is free in his own house. So those karmas become our master and we become the slave of those karmas. And due to those karmas, we shift from house to house, we shift from flesh to flesh and remain miserable in the separation of the Father. So unless we become free within our own house, we become the master of our own house, we can never get peace of mind, we can never go back to the Father. So soul can only become worthy of the Father when it has no covering over it, when it shines, when it becomes whole. So the purpose of meditation is to unknot this knot of mind and soul, to release the soul from the clutches of the mind and to make our mind pure. As long as the mind is pulling us toward the senses, we cannot have a worse enemy than this. When the mind is attached to that Shabad and Naam or melody within, we cannot have a better friend than the mind. So we have to convert the enmity of the mind into its friendship. So when the mind gets taste of that nectar within, it automatically leaves all the pleasures of the world. And when it comes to its own source, soul automatically gets released from the mind, then it becomes whole. Every building has a strong foundation. The stronger the foundation, the better holds the building. So similarly, we have not to sin and also we have to attend to our meditation. And what worse thing can follow us if we sin also along with meditation? We may have to scale back to the level of the creation again and again. So in order to become whole, we have to abstain from the worldly pleasures, sensual pleasures, and we have to build our meditation. And then only soul gets released from the clutches of the mind and it becomes pure. And that is why Christ said, if thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. If you are able to withdraw yourself from the 9 apertures and open this third eye, single eye, what you will find nothing but light and light. That light which gives life to the universe, that light which gives life to every one of us, that light which shines within every one of us.
करूं बेनती राधा स्वामी आज काज करो और राखो लाज करो बेनती राधा स्वामी आज काज करो और राखो लाज।
Prasad is nothing but a remembrance of the Master and his teaching and the way of Santmat life. It should remind us of the Master, remind us of the teaching, remind us of the way of life which we have taken on ourselves to live. That is the real purpose of Prasad. It is not any cure. Don't think just by taking Prasad you are washing your karmas or you are washing your sins. That is the wrong concept. It creates faith in us, and faith leads to meditation. It revives love within us. Love creates faith, and faith leads us to meditation. And that is the effect of Prasad.
Brother, we are all fellow travelers on the same path, and we are all brothers and sisters. There's no question of how to dress him or how to ask him. There's no special way of asking. There's no special procedure. The talk has to be from heart to heart.
We are all knocking at his door. We are all struggling souls. But we should do our best with honesty and sincerity. Then leave the result to the Father. If we are honest, we are sincere, we are putting in our efforts, he won't lag behind in his grace, in his forgiveness. He is more anxious to pull us to his level than we are anxious to go back to him. But for that, we would not have even thought about him. So since he is pulling us from within, so we should try to be receptive as much as we can. Everybody is miserable in separation from the Father. Nobody can become happy. No matter what you may have in this creation, to your achievements, to your credit, to your command, you can never get peace of mind at all in this creation. Because this creation has no reality. Only the real can give us peace. This is illusion. This has no existence at all, no reality at all. We think it is real, so we try to achieve it, try to become part of it, try to command it. And there is always fear of losing whatever the Lord may give us in this creation. If you have a lot of wealth, there's always a fear in your mind. The Lord has given me so much wealth in this world, I may lose it. Banks may fail, companies may fail, shares may fall. There's the fear of losing it. As long as the fear is at the base of our happiness, we can never be happy. So, this fear can only go of losing when we go back to Father. Then only really we can be happy. These are all transitory happiness, short-lived happinesses. So we can only get real peace of mind, real happiness, when we become one with the Father. There's no other way. Only when we merge back in our own origin, we can be happy. Before I take leave, I would like to thank the management for such beautiful arrangement for satsang. I'm really impressed with the satsang atmosphere at every center, and especially the discipline and devotion in Sevadar with which they are attending to their respective duties. Today, my tour has come to an end. I am quite conscious that I have come after 16 years, as I said at Johannesburg to begin with, not that I didn't want to, but I just couldn't. You have been always very near and dear to me, and you will always remain very near and dear to me. To satsangis, only thing I can say, they should do their best to live the Santmat way of life and attend to their daily meditation, and then leave everything to the grace of the Father. To seekers, I have already discussed quite at length. They should not try to hurry to follow the path. They must take their own time and satisfy their own intellect, own curiosity, own intelligence. And they must weigh themselves whether the teaching holds for them or not, whether they should be able to adopt themselves to this way of life, or still they need more time to know where they stand. They should never hurry at all.
I am grateful to the Sangat here for the warm reception they have given me. In the short span of time, I have been overwhelmed by the love and affection showered upon me by the satsangis here. I am glad I got the opportunity to come to South Africa and meet you personally and individually. Once again, I thank you all for your sentiments you have expressed upon me, which I am sure I don't deserve them. Radha Swami.